Hey everyone, welcome to the Otherz Podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Penny. We've been been away for a long time, now finally back after, half a year, something ridiculous like that. So back with a returning guest. We had a great chat last time with Brent joining us, although he's not here this time. And that's Tim. How you doing, man?
I'm good, thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. We are recording this on Monday, the 21st of December, so in the lead up to Christmas. I don't know if this will be released before Christmas. Hopefully, it will. But just so people are aware of when we're actually recording this. And this week, this month, this year, whatever this falls into now, we're not necessarily going to chat about a specific track like we normally do. Because we've been away for so long, there's so much news to catch up on. So we're kind of going to go through, what's happened during the rest of 2020, at least in relation to the likes of, Pharrell and the Neptunes. Maybe not so much about what's been going on the rest of the world. Maybe we want to avoid that and block that out for an hour or so. But we've got a lot to kind of catch up on. So we are going to be running through. I've cheated. I've not prepped here properly. So what we're going to be doing is using kind of key stories from the Neptunes.org website. So shout out to Mika, who did a big update at the end of summer and then also in November with all the kind of news stories and stuff. So we're going to be using that as the basis to go through and pick out kind of key topics and stories to talk about. And yeah, most people will have kind of heard these stories and been aware of this news, during the year. But we're going to give our kind of 2 cents on each one of them. That sound good, Tim?
Sounds good to me. Yeah, good to hear from you again. I think was it June last time we spoke? June, July.
Maybe even before that. Yeah, it was quite a while back. And I did a couple of podcasts after that, and then kind of come the summer, everything shuts down here in Finland, so not really in the mood to do anything. And then, what with everything else going on in the world, just not really been motivated enough to do anything, I think. So it's good to kind of get back to doing this. I know a lot of people have been messaging me and asking me about it, so good to get back here, good to be talking about, the rest of the stories from the rest of the year, and obviously catch up for yourself as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's I think everyone's glad that 2020 has come to an end. Although it doesn't necessarily mean that everything's back to normal. I think we're far from off it. But yeah, I think it's been an interesting year, hasn't it? But yeah, I'll be glad to see the back end of it. If I'm honest.
Yeah, most definitely. But what I've kind of found interesting, which obviously it ties into what we're going to be talking about today, is while a lot of the world has kind of shut down and everyone has been kind of isolated, people's work has kind of gone away and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I think this has probably been Pharrell's busiest year ever almost. He doesn't seem to have stopped during 2020. He's disappeared off to Miami to his new house out there, and been releasing new music and new products and new collaborations and bloody hotels and restaurants and all sorts. So he's really been going for it in 2020 and utilising all of this kind of extra time that he's had, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, there seems to be something new each week. Not necessarily music, but whether it's face cream or seems to be a lot of Adidas drops as well this year.
Yep, definitely. I've got a few of those lined up to talk about as well. We won't be able to cover all of them because there have been so bloody many. But we can talk about some key ones. But yeah, let's get started with some of the news and stuff then, and stuff that's been happening this year. And I'm not sure if I covered this on one of the previous podcasts, but I thought I would mention it just because it's another podcast that I finally got around to listening to. I've had it in my podcast queue for like 2 or 3 months or something ridiculous now. And it's an interview with Mike Larson, who, for those that don't know, is Pharrell's sound engineer. So he works with Pharrell and with the Neptunes. He's been with them since around 2006, 2007, I want to say. And he appeared on the Based Miami podcast, and it's a couple of hours long, loads of really interesting chat with Mike, lots of insights into, his background and stuff that he's kind of worked on over the years, and what he's kind of, brought to the table in terms of work with Pharrell and the Neptunes. And some nice little, bits of information in there about, certain tracks and projects and what did happen and what didn't happen, what was meant to happen. So a really, really interesting podcast, whether you're just into music generally or, you're actually into, Pharrell, the Neptunes, like, we are, a really good listen. Have you had a chance to listen to this one at all, Tim?
I haven't, no. And I have seen it. Cause it's his Instagram, it's Miguel Millions, isn't it?
Yeah.
At Miguel Millions. So worth a follow. But no, I haven't listened to it. But definitely interested. Because he joined working with the Neptunes and N.E.R.D. Was it around Seeing Sounds?
Yeah, he was involved in that, yeah.
Was that the first project he was...
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, so it'd be interesting to hear what you've got to say about it. But it's definitely on my list. I'm off work now, so I've got plenty of time.
All this holiday time now to listen to endless podcasts.
Yeah.
I've tried to do that the last couple of weeks. I've had so many queued up that I haven't got around to listening to. I've still got a couple left. I've got the kind of Killer Keller, Philip Leeds one I still haven't got around to. But this one I kind of really wanted to listen to because I speak to Mike occasionally online. Always trying to convince him to come on this podcast, so I wanted to kind of have a listen, see what he was chatting about, and again, if we can try and get him on this podcast, obviously don't want to repeat what he's already talked about. So it was good to kind of listen to it and see what kind of questions being asked and get some of his insights into things that he's been working on over the years. So it was really good. So if you've not checked that out yet, please go and do so. As I say, the podcast is Based Miami. You can just search for that, or just search for Mike Larson on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Overcast, whatever podcast app you use, and I'm sure you will find it. If you can't, head over to theneptunes.org. There's a post there, and you can also stream it from the page itself as well. All right, next one. I Am Other. I've been doing a lot more kind of creative stuff this year. I think I mentioned on the previous podcast they were working with SoundCloud to kind of produce this kind of compilation album of other artists, producers, whoever it may be. You could submit your own music, and people at I Am Other, I think KP was leading this, would go through all of the music and they'd put together this kind of album that would be streaming from SoundCloud. Volume 1 went out. I can't remember the actual date. I think it was towards the end of the summer. Volume 1 went out. And they are currently working, I believe, on Volume 2. I don't think it's out, but I think they're accepting submissions again. So, if you are an aspiring artist or producer or whatever it may be, and you want to get your music to somebody at I Am Other, then this is definitely something to look into and submit, and you never know, you may make it onto the final cut. Have you had a chance to listen to it?
I haven't, no. I was going to say, did you recognise any of the names on it? Because obviously, grinding for him, part of Neptunes.org, there's a lot of musicians on there. I was wondering if any of the old heads had managed to get on it.
I don't think so, from what I remember. I'm just actually looking at the page now, looking at the names. I don't think there was anyone that I recognise on there. But I remember having a quick listen to this kind of back in the summer. There were some really good tracks on here. It's, as I say, it's looked after by KP, who I don't know his actual job title at I Am Other. He's kind of head of music or something like that, one of those kind of very high-level generic job titles. But he oversees all of the kind of music they put out. I think whether that's Pharrell, Neptunes, people they're affiliated with, other people that are signed to I Am Other. He oversees a lot of that. So he was overseeing this project and personally, listening to a lot of the music himself. So if if you are an aspiring artist, then here's the chance to get your music out there and get it on an album that's affiliated with Pharrell and I Am Other.
Is that any way it must be connected to BBC Sounds? Because they released a vinyl, didn't they? Billionaire Boys Club.
Yeah, so BBC Sounds is nothing really to do with I Am Other. It's an independent record label that BBC Europe set up, which I think Ross set up so that they could work with kind of independent and up-and-coming UK artists and actually put stuff out basically for these artists to help promote them. So they've done quite a few collaborations. They've put out a couple of vinyls, I think, so far. But yeah, it's kind of, that is just very BBC Europe centric. It's not related to BBC, the overall arching brand or anything.
Yeah.
Because BBC Europe is very much an independent thing nowadays. Not really that closely connected to BBC in the US. Obviously, they work closely together. It's the same brand, but BBC EU now is the luxury arm of the brand. So they work on their own designs, their own marketing, their own kind of collaborations and initiatives and stuff like that. So yes, the record label itself was very much just a BBC Europe thing.
Yeah, right.
Also, yes, if you want to check out some up-and-coming artists, then keep an eye on BBC EU on Instagram. They post there regularly. Artists they're working with, releases that are kind of coming out that they're helping with. They also, during the summer, did something similar. And again, I can't remember if I mentioned this, but they were allowing submissions as well of music or art or whatever, design, whatever it may be. And they were offering kind of marketing expertise and design expertise and stuff like that to kind of help other creative people basically. I think that's an ongoing project. I don't think that was just for COVID times. I think that's something they're actually working on going forward. So again, follow them and keep an eye on that. Again, if you're an aspiring artist or creative person in any of the kind of creative fields, that may be something to watch and get involved with, basically. You mentioned Adidas earlier, so the first one, or the first kind of Adidas-related story I've got here is the Premium Basics, which came out, again, I want to say in the summer or towards the end of the summer. As you mentioned, there's been a lot of Adidas releases, including one, even last week, wasn't it? Last week.
Yeah.
The kind of triple black collection, which I think instead of the usual 3 or 4 different sneakers, we had about 8 or 9 or 10 different Adidas sneakers that have just been blacked out. Then also the apparel and accessories as well. But yeah, earlier in the year we had the Premium Basics, which basic Adidas stuff, but a variety of colors. I think there were 10, 15 colors, something like that. T-shirts, sweatpants, hoodies, all that kind of stuff, all your usual basic type stuff.
Yeah, they released, I don't know if you remember this as well, they released a lot of football shirts. And I'm a Bolton Wanderers fan, so I couldn't get the Manchester United one. Yeah, well, I know, yeah. League Two football for us. But I think the Manchester United one's absolutely amazing. It's a hark-back to one of their 90s kits. I think that's my fellow Bolton Wanderers fans would be wanting to kick me for saying that was my favourite one of the lot. But
actually, I had that story here as well. So they were actually collaborations. They were Adidas. Obviously, they were Adidas. Yeah. There were clubs that have Adidas as a kit manufacturer, but it was actually a human race collaboration. Right. So it was done under the Human Race brand. And yeah, I'm just flicking through the page here. So there's Real Madrid. The Juventus one I really like, the kind of pink Juve away kit. The Arsenal one is really nice, but I have to preface this, I'm a Liverpool fan, so like you, I looked at them and went, those are really nice kits, but I could never buy any of them, let alone wear them. God. But the Juve one looks really nice. The Arsenal one with the kind of almost tie-dye effect looks nice. Then you got a Bayern Munich one. Yeah, you got the Man United one, which again is that kind of 90s throwback type design. It's good looking, but I'm not going to say anything more about it. It's a Man United kit.
I think it's most recent trainers that got a Tokyo Solar Hue.
Yep.
I think that was last week. I'm absolutely tempted by them, but as we were discussing before we started recording, I'm trying to have a bit of a cutback on buying expensive apparel, which is Billionaire Boys Club.
Yeah,
and,
so
affiliated brands.
Yes, and we'll get to that drop at some point soon, and we'll get to what we've kind of picked up over the course of the year. I had quite a few months off of buying anything because of personal circumstances. But yeah, the last month or two, I've been buying a few more bits here and there, and it's a slippery slope from now on, so got to be careful.
Well, unless you want to buy me a Christmas present.
It's too late now, mate. It won't get there in time, will it?
Yeah. No, that's right. When my birthday's in March, how about we'll be right for then?
I'll bear it in mind. Definitely. Mine's in July for everyone out there. Adidas Basics, whatever they're called, they're out there. Also, around the same time, we had the revamp of the Superstars with the kind of with Adidas, it's prime knit, isn't it? The material they use. So there was a white version and a kind of dark black and brown version of the Superstars that came out with. It's strange, lots of different materials, lots of different colours. It brought in different aspects of some of the other Pharrell shoes and kind of, almost put them on top of the Superstar silhouette. The white ones, I think, looked quite nice. The darker kind of black and brown ones, not really a fan of. I didn't cop any of these. They're a bit too different for me. But they did grow on me. Having sort of seen them and actually saw them in person as well in a store over here. I was tempted, but with the amount of Hues and tennis Hues and NMDs and things like that I've got here that I don't wear anyway. Buying a pair of these, probably not the best idea. And again, because they're kind of that prime knit material, there's probably 2 or 3 months of the year in this country I can actually wear them. It's not really worth it, to be honest.
No, I mean, I got I think it's the first drop of Human Made, the white ones with the red hearts on the front. And I haven't really been tempted by any of the others since, but these Tokyo Solar ones are still looking at me on my laptop at the moment, but I have to tear myself away, I think.
We'll go through some other stories first, don't worry. Close that tab down, we'll get there eventually. As I mentioned at the start, it's been a busy year for Pharrell. He's been divesting and diversifying, I guess, are the words. Kind of all over the place. And one of the kind of big projects he's been involved in this year is hotels. Strangely, I think last year or at the start of this year, we saw him involved in some property development in Canada. Apartments and housing and stuff. And now he's working in the hotel industry. So he's working with Dave Grootman to kind of open this hotel. It's called the Good Time Hotel. I believe it's in Miami. It just seems a very left field kind of thing to do, to suddenly be involved in property and restaurants. Restaurants I can kind of understand. But then, a hotel is a massive undertaking to invest in, and to especially in the kind of current climate where hotels aren't really making that much money. It's an interesting thing to invest in and be involved in.
I mean, you got to wonder how much how much time he has involved in this with everything else he's doing. You wouldn't have thought the hours in the day. So maybe it is just more of an investment part. But as you say, I think it's a positive thing because the hotel industry and hospitality needs a lot of support all around the world at the moment to get back going in 2021.
Definitely. And I think the hotel has been finished now. In the pictures it looks beautiful. And I saw a post, I think it was yesterday or earlier today, of the top 20 most anticipated hotel openings, this year or next year or whatever it is, and his hotel is on that list. I think he may have even shared the post about it on his Instagram. So obviously, from what people have seen of it so far, it looks good. Seems like it's going to be a great place to go and stay once people are actually allowed to travel again. So if you are, once we can travel, if you are heading to the US, if you are heading to Miami, it's another option for you to go and stay in Pharrell's lovely looking and I imagine very, very expensive hotel.
Yeah, just look at it. It does look quite something.
Yeah, it's got like proper like Miami vibe. It's got like, there's a huge atrium there and really nice looking swimming pool, and certainly looks like a nice place.
On my list to play. Can't afford to go.
Yeah, that's the problem at the moment. Yeah, like I say, once we're back traveling, once we've all managed to save a bit of money up again, then hopefully we'll be able to stay at nice places like that. What have we got next? Let's get into some skin cream. So back in, I want to say before November, I think this was announced, but it came out 3 or 4 weeks ago, I think. His Human Race line of skincare products. And obviously over the years, Pharrell has been very famous in terms of his never aging looks almost. And I've seen many interviews where he's asked about his skincare routine and what products he uses and what he does, and he's kind of talked about that kind of quite openly in the past. So it surprised me that it's taken this long for him to kind of capitalize on this interest in his looks. But the products have come out now. I think there are 3 kind of products. You can buy them individually or as a set. And he's been promoting this heavily the last couple of months, really heavily. Yeah. So he's really, really involved in this. But this comes from his I Am Other team as well. I know they've been working on this for quite a while. And he seems to be really into this. Like I say, he's been doing a lot of press for it, which is, he'll always do press when he needs to do it, but he doesn't like to do the same thing over and over again. But with this, he's doing a lot of interviews about it. I don't actually have the product yet. The problem I had was I was going to order some. You could buy the pack of the 3 different products for, I think, for $100 it was. But then being here in Europe, you had to then add $60 for the shipping. Wow. Then pay the tax as well once it gets here. So a $100 product instantly becomes a $200 product. Yeah. And I couldn't really sort of justify that, if I'm honest. I justify a lot of nonsense. But some skincare products, maybe not. So I'm hoping at some point, they get a kind of, European partner or distributor. So they actually have stock over here in Europe and we can get it, much more easily at a kind of more affordable price. Although I did notice at the weekend they did restock some products, and I know it did say they were doing free international shipping for a short period of time. So if you are desperate at the moment to get some, now is the time to do it. I imagine they obviously did that because we're coming up on Christmas. People are buying this as a Christmas present. It's at that price point where it's an ideal Christmas present for somebody who is either into skincare or into Pharrell or whatever it may be. So I would be interested to see at some point in the future what this stuff is actually like.
Well, it's funny this has come up because my girlfriend's been doing research on face cream. She's a bit younger than me, and she started to mention that we need to preserve our skin. I don't know if it's completely directed at me because I'm quite a bit older. Not quite a bit older, a little bit older.
That sounded creepy.
I know. 5 years. 5 years. But so when she mentioned this, I was like, oh well, I like Pharrell. So if we're going to do this, then you can get some of this new cream that he's brought out. But I'm yet to know what cream we're going to be using. But apparently we're starting in the new year, daily routine of skincare. I didn't think I looked bad for 35.
Doing all right, mate.
Cheers.
I can see you via the joys of FaceTime. Yeah, doing all right. Myself? Yeah, not so much, but...
Looking beautiful, mate.
Oh, thanks, mate, thanks. Well, I just cut my hair again, so I'm covering up all the grey hair and everything at the moment.
Oh, don't, yeah. Mine's just at the sides.
Yeah, mine is all around the sides and at the top. I've got patches everywhere.
You know what? I've never really been able to grow a beard. I've got a bit of stubble now, and I've already got my first grey hair in my beard. I was like, well, how does that work out?
Yeah, quite a few of them.
Yeah, slippy
We
slope.
should talk about stuff like this. I know most of the people that listen to this podcast are probably under 25, and they'll be rolling their eyes right now at this kind of talk. But yeah, skincare. Yes, I will be probably getting some at some point. I'd like to kind of test it out at least, and my other half is actually quite into this sort of stuff as well. So I don't think she'd kill me too much if I wasted $100 or $200 on this sort of thing. She'd sort of steal it herself, I imagine. So yes, I will try this out at some point. Just not quite yet. And like I say, I want to see if they actually bring it over to Europe and start distributing from over here before I start paying all the extortionate shipping fees and import fees and whatnot. But if anyone out there has tried it, I did see a lot of people posting about it. Let us know what you think of it. Right, what's next? Voices of Fire on Netflix. I'm yet to watch this. It's not really the sort of thing that necessarily interests me too much. But I know Pharrell has been promoting this and talking about it quite a bit recently. So this is actually his uncle, who is a bishop, and it's kind of based around him and working with gospel choir. But past that, I'm not really sure of what the kind of premise is, whether it's a kind of reality type thing or just a documentary. Have you seen this at all?
No, I've seen it on the various social medias. It's been promoted, but no, it's not something I've tackled yet. Got far too many series on the go as it is.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's probably something I'll check out in the new year. So you don't actually know if it's a documentary or.
I'm just
what?
reading the synopsis of it. So yeah, like I don't know how involved Pharrell is in this and whether he makes many appearances, but yeah, he's involved in the collaboration with Netflix called Voices of Fire. It follows his uncle in search of choral talents in Hampton Roads for an inspiring gospel choir. So kind of like a reality show for a gospel choir, I imagine. I'm not a big fan of reality type shows, especially the music ones, but I imagine this will probably be done a little bit better and be a little bit more grown up than the likes of stuff we're used to seeing on TV. For our UK listeners, what do we have over there now? Britain's Got Talent and things like that, where it's more of a let's just mock some mentally ill people that can't actually sing, and then make a lot of money off the people that can. So I'm not a fan of those shows, but we'll see with this one. I think it'll be a little bit better than that.
Yeah. Just, like you say, just look at the synopsis, and it does look like that documentary style. So yeah, it might be pretty good, and I'd be surprised. I mean, hopefully it won't be sensationalized, like you say, like Britain's Got Talent, X Factor, etc., which I think we all agree have had their day.
Oh well, you'd like to think that, but they still seem to pull in millions of viewers, unfortunately. Let's get on to some Neptune's music. Obviously, the Neptunes are back together now and producing. I don't think they've partly been physically together this year, and then also doing a lot of stuff remotely as well. I think Chad is generally based out in LA now and in Virginia, whereas Pharrell is down in Miami a lot of the time. But a couple of tracks made it onto the Megan Thee Stallion EP. I'm not a big Megan Thee Stallion fan, but I did listen to these. I did quite like the beats. Again, if you head over to the Neptunes.org, you can stream them there. You can also stream a remix that Mika, who runs the site, DJ Freaky, has done himself. He always does great remixes of Neptune's tracks and Neptune's projects. So go and check that out. Have you listened to these ones?
Yeah, I have. There's been a couple of the tracks which I've really liked. So Pomegranate, Entrepreneur, have really they're ones I've revisited. I've got to admit, as obviously a big Neptunes N.E.R.D fan, none of them have really grabbed me like, yes, they're back. Which So that's what I'm holding out for 2021, where we get some, and I think when they say classic Neptune style, I know that the sound has definitely moved on, but some of the releases I've heard of late have been quite generic. I find they sound, similar to the Future, Migos, that kind of that stuttering. I'm probably showing my age now, but
to be fair, I'm with you on this. I'm kind of with you. Not necessarily so much in the Neptune stuff. I think they managed to differentiate themselves a bit, and just enough. But I know what you mean. There is a lot of stuff out there that does just sound very similar, and it's about making stuff that kind of plays to the mass market almost. So I have liked some stuff this year, like you mentioned. It's a little bit different. So like Pomegranate, not a bad track. Cherry Pie, I really loved. That was one of my favourite songs this year. What else did you mention? Entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really great track. I think that's been really underrated. Again, they did quite a bit of promo for it initially. Then it kind of died off. But I thought it was a really great track. I liked the Jay-Z verse on it. I liked the video.
The video is amazing. I think it came at a time where it was much needed with everything that's happening with Black Lives Matters and what's happening in America, and some of which what's happening in the UK as well with the rise of far right movements as well. So I think it was really important to get that video out. But like you say, I think it was on. I remember it being on BBC News actually. So there was I think it was a black Scottish couple or Irish couple that were in it. But then by the next week, it would not really got much traction.
Yeah, that's the thing. That first week or so when it came out, because it dropped kind of quite suddenly, although it did leak about 12, 15 hours early. So I know I had a copy before a lot of people. But yeah, it kind of almost came out of nowhere, and yeah, it's always a surprise to see Jay-Z on a track featuring nowadays. So yeah, it came out, got a lot of spins, and then like I say, it kind of just died off after that, after a couple of weeks. I've been playing it a lot. I think it's great, as you mentioned, the video itself, around the whole thing around, social unrest at the moment, and also, kind of, supporting businesses, but not just any businesses, businesses tied to kind of Black and Latin kind of communities, minorities. Yeah, I like the kind of idea and the premise behind it, and the kind of message from it. And yeah, I love the fact that the video was, showcasing some of those entrepreneurs and, kind of, business owners and people like that, that have kind of struggled to get where they are, and they're now kind of, succeeding and flourishing. And I've seen a few kind of spin-off videos, like, we saw with the Happy stuff back in the day, Happy Inn, wherever the place may be. I've seen a few kind of spin-off videos of entrepreneurs from different countries, videos put together of local businesses there. So yeah, get on YouTube and have a search of those, and see if you can find some businesses near you that need supporting for sure. We also had this year the new Run the Jewels album with a Pharrell and Zach De La Rocha track. I think I talked about this previously, but I think since then the video has been released. So there was an official video for it. If I remember rightly from having watched it, I don't think Pharrell or anyone makes an appearance in it. It's an animated video, but a good video nonetheless. So
and a cracking track.
Yeah, very really good track. So yeah, another one to check out. I really liked the album, kind of end to end as well. Been giving that a few sort of spins this year as well. So another one to go and check out for sure. What have we got next? Next on my list is what we just talked about, Entrepreneur. So we won't go over that all over again. Spin, the kind of music magazine website, had its 35th anniversary, naming its most influential artists of the past 35 years. At number 16 was our favourite production duo, the Neptunes. Yeah, to be listed number 16 most influential people in music. It's not bad. Not a bad accolade.
So, sorry, that was over the last how many years?
35.
35 years. Have you got the top 5 handy? Can we have a bit of a guess?
Hold on. Let me open the tab. We'll see if it works.
David Bowie must be in there, top 5, surely.
I'm going to provide some feedback to Mika here. He's posted the thing, but not actually posted a link to the main thing. All right. So spin 35. Here we go. It's going to tell us. Of course, it's not.
Doesn't tell us the top 5.
I'm just landing on the page of the Neptunes. Let me see if I can find a link for the overall thing. God, I'll edit this boring bit out afterwards. Jesus. Me digging around trying to find links.
Sure.
Yeah, I've got a page for the Neptunes, but then it doesn't give me a link to go to what the main list is.
35 most influential artists. I've got it. Let me just check that's the right one. So 16 the Neptunes, yeah. So I've got the.
Okay, so I can see on this page they're doing it in a weird way. They're doing it as individual posts. So I can see number 1, I can see number 2, number 3. All right, top 5 then. Let me find number 5. Or 5.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's start at number 6 because number 6 is one of my personal favourites. So see if you can get how many of the top 6 you can get.
Right. Okay. So I'm going to go. So David Bowie's got to be in there, I'd imagine.
Don't think he is. Don't think he's top 6 at all. Hold on, I'm going to write these down so I'm not flicking between pages. you have a think. I can give you an extra minute here or so. Right.
Okay. Is Dr. Dre in there? Can I have some clues, please?
Hold on. Let me write them down. Hold on. Then we got that one. And then I'll give you Dr. Dre because NWA are at number 4.
Thank you.
5 was okay.
Okay.
Right. So I'll give you NWA at number 4. There is one woman in the top 6.
Has
worked with Pharrell.
Britney.
Nope.
Britney. Who else? Madonna.
Yep, got it. She's at number 3. We have got an artist that Pharrell did one remix for and wrote his biggest hit for originally. Oh,
he was discussing this recently, wasn't he? Wasn't it Prince?
Yes. Prince is at number 2.
Yeah, what was he discussing? I can't. Was it with Gwyneth Paltrow, wasn't it? He was having a chat about it.
Yeah, I didn't watch that interview. He was talking about it on Drink Champs as well. We'll get to that. I think he's talked about it a few times in the past. But yeah, he wrote Fronting originally for Prince. And Prince, let's say, politely declined. I wasn't interested whatsoever.
How many more do we need to get?
All right, you got 3 more. So let's go. Number 6, hip hop artist. What I think has the highest selling hip hop album ever, or rap album ever.
Artist or group?
Artist.
Jay-Z, Eminem,
West Coast, close.
Snoop, Ice Cube.
No. He's reeling off rappers now.
Ice-T.
No, I'll put you out of your misery. It's Tupac. I believe All Eyes on Me is still the highest selling rap album ever.
I was going to go to Bone Thugs and Harmony next.
Oh my God.
Was not on my...
Number 5. I am not a fan of these. I've got no idea how I would give you a clue. Rock band, something to do with DIY.
DIY?
The shittest clue ever.
Don't do much DIY. Is it Spirit Level? Smells like Team Spirit.
9 Inch Nails.
Right, yeah, well, yeah, Nails, yeah.
Yeah. And at number 1, so we've already got Madonna, Prince. Number 1, you were kind of close a moment ago, in fact. Another rock band from the northwest of the United States.
Northwest of the United States. So Foo Fighters, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Close, you're close.
Well, that kind of era?
Before that. Bit before. Well, around those early days.
What's Axl Rose's lot?
Guns N' Roses, no.
Yeah. Axl Rose, Guns N' Roses, yeah. That's... oh, God. Can I have another clue, please?
From Seattle.
Nirvana.
There you go, you got it. So yeah, there's the top 6. And the Neptunes came in at 16.
Not bad going.
Not bad, yeah. Amongst some good names there. Right, what else have we got? Another Pharrell collaboration. He has done many collaborations with Timberland over the years. Beeline, which is kind of it was kind of like a luxury offshoot of BBC from many years back. Has reappeared in the wild, and there is another Beeline Timberland collaboration with a number of colorways of the kind of classic Timberland 6-inch boot. So if you haven't seen this, it's essentially the standard, tan coloured, wheat coloured Timberland boot, but then with a rubber kind of toe cap and outsole in various colours. There's green, yellow, brown, orange, and black by the looks of it. I like the collaboration. I like the fact Beeline is back. I could never pull off a pair of boots like this. The colours are really nice colours, but on the boot itself, they kind of look almost, I don't know, comical. I like to see them on other people's feet. I don't think I could wear these on my own feet. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's quite, as David Brent gets accused of, quite the heel on them. You can still find them. Yeah, not for me.
Yeah, I own a few pair of Timberlands in like different colorways and stuff. And Timberland is a classic boot. But yeah, the kind of way these are made and the kind of color combinations and the way they look, not for me. But if you're a Timberland fan, if you're a Beeline fan, then you can go and seek these out. They were released at the start of December, I think it was. So you may be lucky and may still be able to find some knocking about somewhere. Right, what else have we got? Oh, another Pharrell initiative and project. He has launched... What has he launched? What's the name of it? Black Ambition. A non-profit organisation to help Black and Latinx entrepreneurs, obviously following on from the Entrepreneur song. I'm not sure of the ins and outs of this. I've seen them tweeting quite a lot about kind of stuff they're involved in. I know I think it's an offshoot of I Am Other, but yeah, it is a non-profit foundation or initiative, that's meant to help entrepreneurs, Black, Latinx, in launching tech, design, healthcare, consumer products, service startups, all this kind of thing. So again, if you are a young entrepreneur or an older entrepreneur even, you are looking for help and support, again, this could be another route to get some backing and some help, basically. I know they're asking for applications, or they have been asking for applications throughout December, and they will be giving out a $250,000 top prize, as well as some smaller prizes. But again, I think this will be an ongoing initiative to kind of help entrepreneurs, basically. What else have we got? Oh, we have seen the relaunch of Other Tone.
Yeah.
Now, I was going to say I like and dislike. I don't dislike, but I'm not a massive fan of these podcasts, if I'm honest. And I briefly mentioned this to you before we started recording. I think during this year, maybe the last couple of years, I've generally almost actively avoided Pharrell interviews and podcasts and things like that, because with all of his business ventures and everything he's involved in, rightly so, he is a very safe individual. He will not say anything controversial. But it kind of gets to the point, at least for me, with all the interviews I see, it gets a bit kind of samey. So I try and generally avoid all these kind of interviews and videos and stuff. I know there's been a huge amount of them recently. The podcasts that have come out so far, a new one was released, I think it was today, in fact, with Eric Andre.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's the fourth one. The other three I have listened to. and they are actually okay. So obviously the podcast previously was done with Pharrell and Scott Venner. Family is now involved as well. So Family is there, asking questions and being, chatting to the guests as well. They've got a good range of guests so far. I'm just opening my podcast app to remind myself of
Yeah, I've only listened to one so far. There's
who they had.
The singer from Barcelona.
Oh yeah, so Rosalia. So she was on the first one.
Yeah.
That was quite good. Zendaya, the singer actress who's in Spider-Man and stuff like that. The last one I thought was actually quite good. Anna Taylor-Joy. If you don't know who she is, she's the kind of lead character in The Queen's Gambit, the massive Netflix hit of the year, basically, that's been watched by like 70 million households or something, including my own household, and it was very, very good. So she was the guest on episode 3.
It yet.
Get on it.
Got 2 episodes left.
Very good. Very highly recommended. Very, very good TV. And yeah, the podcast episode is quite interesting as well. But yeah, Othertone is back. There will be lots more guests, I'm sure. They seem to be, branching out into slightly more interesting and different characters. Whereas previously, I thought a lot of the kind of guests they had on there were people that just happened to be, passing through, and again, were kind of quite safe guests. The ones so far have been generally, but the Eric Andre one, I can imagine, is going to be, maybe a little bit more out there, shall we say? So I'm going to give that a listen, probably this week at some point. But yes, if you want to hear kind of Pharrell interviewing people and chatting to people, then Othertone is definitely back. Not just as a podcast, but they've been talking about a podcast company, which I think is called Othertone Media. So they may be involved in other podcasts going forward as well. If they'd like to get in touch with me, my email address and contact details can be found on the website at theothers.net. But yes, that's out there. Get it on your favourite podcast app now.
It was good to see Family's face again. I hadn't heard from him for a while, so it's nice to see that he's back involved.
Yeah, Family's been really involved this year with Pharrell. He's been down staying in Miami with Pharrell, from my understanding. Been involved in lots of the projects and music, and he was on the Drink Champs podcast that came out this week as well. He made an appearance there, so he's definitely getting out there a bit more. And I know Pharrell did mention that Family, he said, is working on stuff, his own stuff. I'm saying that in air quotes. Whether that's his own business or his own media or his own music, who knows? But it would be good to hear more from Family. Yeah,
because he was on tour probably about 5-6 years ago. He's on the N.E.R.D tours, wasn't he?
Yeah, so he normally tours with them. Sometimes he's been support. Sometimes he just kind of comes out. Sometimes he's just hanging around with them. He's just there because he's a friend and travels with them.
Yeah.
And speaking of Family, I think you mentioned briefly earlier, or before we started recording, new music from Pusha T coming soon, hopefully. Pusha has confirmed that the only producers on his album are, at the moment at least, are Kanye and the Neptunes. So that's an instant hit for me.
Yeah, music to my ears. That's when I saw that probably a couple of weeks ago, going around the social medias. That's what excited me. So yeah, hopefully we'll hear that sooner rather than later. I'm trying to think when was Daytona his last album.
I'm awful with names and dates, but it might have been, yeah.
Yes, I think that was the last one. I don't know if that was the actual album title now. So yeah, I think it's due any time really.
Yeah, so he did confirm it would be released within the next 90 days.
Oh right.
So by March 2021 at the latest, basically. So yes, incoming and impending. So I've got my
I've got my Hell Hath No Fury vinyl on order from America. It's I think it's 3 or 4 weeks going so far. Don't think it's even been shipped yet.
I actually did just reorder some vinyl. I don't even own a record player anymore, but I'm buying loads of vinyl. But I did order a reissue of the Clones album, which is on a kind of special blue pressed vinyl, and there are only 1,500 that were made. So I managed to get hold of one of those. So that's on its way at the moment, hopefully.
Are they still selling them? Can you link me up on this?
Yes, I'll send you the link for it. And I also ordered a family promo. I can't remember which song it was, though. And what else did I order? Can I have it like that promo as well? And I ordered it and then realised I think I actually have a copy already somewhere. But, yeah, you can never have too many records, even when you don't even own a record player anymore.
I saw that Mika got the Clones album.
Yeah, so that's the same one. I saw him post it, and I thought, I need to find one of those.
And he said it's going to stay in its wrapping. I was like, I know he's obviously got it for a collector's item, but for me, it'd be going straight on the record player. Maybe drinking water.
You say water, it looks like vodka, but I trust you, don't worry. Yeah, mine will stay in the wrapper for the foreseeable future until I actually end up getting a record player sorted out. But yeah, all my others that are here as well, they're all still in the wrappers, so one day I'll get to use them. And talking of Pusher as well, his name did crop up on the Drinks Champ podcast. And this was kind of one of the interesting aspects of the podcast. N.E.R.D asked Pharrell about the Pusher and Drake kind of beef from whenever it was, a couple of years back, which got kind of quite personal, quite kind of heated. And Pharrell kind of talked, quite openly about it, I think, which, is unusual for him. But by that point, he'd had a few drinks, so he was a bit more chatty. So it was interesting to get his kind of take on that. And, I think he was saying, he obviously wasn't a fan of it happening, and, he's got, love for both of them, and he spoke to both of them and still speaks to both of them, and has, kind of almost advised them to just, try and knock it on the head and get on with things. But, interesting to see him kind of talk about stuff like that, which is not something he would normally do, I think, if he were sober and or in a kind of normal interview or kind of podcast setting.
Yeah.
What have we got next? Next on my list, actually, some more Adidas N.E.R.D Hues are coming out. There were a number that came out at Complex Land recently when that ran over the weekend. I think that was 2 weekends ago, maybe. There are some more coming out. Some kind of, I was going to say lime green. They're not really lime green, but a green variant with, I believe it's Vietnamese on the front, saying human race. I think it's Vietnamese. But they are coming out. As you mentioned earlier, there has been, so many Adidas drops this year, so many colorways, so many variants. I don't think I've bought any sneakers this year. I'm just trying to think. I probably have, but none that I can actually think of off the top of my head. But I'm loving some of the colorways of the NMDs and stuff at the moment. What I want to see is more of the... we haven't seen much of the tennis hues this year. So obviously a couple of years back, tennis hues were dropping 4 or 5 colours every couple of weeks, and it was crazy. And I've got about 30-something, 40-something pairs of them. But
really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I've got a lot. But I love them. They're a really comfy sneaker. Again, they are the sort of thing I can't wear all year round over here. But in the summer, they are the perfect shoe just to lounge in, to walk around in, to take on holiday because they're so kind of light. You can just scrunch them up, chuck them in a bag. They're obviously that prime knit material as well, so you don't get particularly sweaty in them. If they get wet, they dry out really quickly. They're just an all-round perfect sneaker for me for just general day-to-day wear. So I've got an absolute ton of them. These NMDs, I've talked about this on the podcast in the past. I love the silhouette. I love the designs, the colorways. But man, they're such awful fitting shoes. Behind me, I've got 6 pairs of them, I think, 6 different pairs from various releases. If I wanted to put one of them on now, it would take me 10 minutes to get them on. It's a fight to get my foot into them and get them on. It's a struggle, a painful struggle. And then when I wear them as well, I find they don't fit my feet great, so they kind of make my feet ache a little bit. So I love them. I think they look great, but I'm going to try and avoid buying NMDs for, the rest of this year and next year, and sort of, hope we get some more sort of tennis Hues. What's next? We already briefly mentioned the Triple Black collection, which came out roughly a week ago or so. All the usual kind of Adidas apparel, sweatpants, hoodies, workout gear. And then, there's probably, 8, 9 or 10 different shoe variants they've got this time, including NMDs, tennis Hues, solar Hues, but all just blacked out, basically. There's Stan Smiths. There's a few other ones that they haven't done with Pharrell in the past. But if you're a fan of the all black everything look, then definitely get on this, because it is literally all black everything. I'm just flicking through some of the shoes now. The NMDs look nice. They've got Sambas, Stan Smiths. I think there's 2 different variants as well. They've got like the leather version and then the kind of prime knit version. Superstars. There's loads of different ones. So if you're looking for some new sneakers, and as I say, you like the all black everything, then definitely head over to adidas.com, and I think some of them are still in stock. You can still get hold of them. Pharrell's podcast, yes. He's been appearing on lots of podcasts and lots of interviews this year, as we've already kind of mentioned briefly. He's done a second podcast with Rick Rubin recently. Now, the second one I haven't listened to yet. It's one of those ones that's in my queue to get round to. The first one, which came out just over a year ago, maybe, I think. Again, I initially avoided it because I thought it would be one of those kind of bland, samey, safe kind of conversations, but it was probably one of his best interviews in many, many years, because it was off the back of the Blurred Lines court case where he had to pay out however many millions of dollars it was to the estate of Marvin Gaye, and he was obviously, let's say, slightly peeved about that decision, and he openly talked about it seemingly out of nowhere on the podcast episode last year. So it was a really great interview. It was really great to see him that passionate about something and that kind of worked up about it. So I'm hoping there's some more stuff on this podcast. I know they talk about some of his hits he's worked on, new projects and things like that. So I'm definitely going to give that a listen again, probably this week or next weekend. If you want to check it out, the podcast itself, which Rick Rubin does on a semi-regular basis, is called Broken Record. So again, you can look that up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those sorts of places. Have you listened to this one at all yet?
No, one of my friends sent it to me. So it's on my list. But like you say, that first one with Rick Rubin, I think it was on YouTube, wasn't it? I don't know if it's actually a podcast, it's a video. I really enjoyed watching it, yeah.
Yeah, they did it in collaboration with GQ. So it was a GQ video, and then I think they put it out as part of the Broken Record podcast series as well. But yeah, it was, like I said, it was one of his more interesting interviews and videos. What we got next, we've already talked about this briefly. I Am Other, SoundCloud Volume 2. Are there any more details here that I didn't give you earlier? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's actually out already. So they are not accepting submissions anymore. It's actually been released. So again, I've not listened to this, so I'm just looking through the names. Nobody I really recognise, but I will be checking that out, and you can too. You can head over to SoundCloud and look at the I Am Other page over there, or again head over to the Neptunes.org and you can stream all the tracks basically on the page there. It's something to check out. More work that Pharrell is involved in, working with Hans Zimmer on the new Lion King movie. We seem to have had about 3 or 4 Lion King movies, haven't we, over the last sort of few years, it seems like. He was involved in the soundtrack of the last one that was done, the kind of live action one. And he had the track on there, what was it called, with Beyonce, Water, which was a really good track, I thought. Seems he's working on more music to to kind of feature on a new version or a follow-up that Disney seem to be making. And again, working with Hans Zimmer as he's done multiple times over the years. Next on my list, the Drink Champs podcast. So this has been getting all the attention the last few days amongst Pharrell and Neptune's fans. If you don't know what Drink Champs is, this is a podcast that happens every week where N.E.R.D, the rapper, basically gets guests in, plies them with obscene amounts of alcohol, and just asks them lots of questions and just chats nonsense a lot of the time, especially as more alcohol is consumed. But it can lead to some quite interesting stories and anecdotes and things like that. I was really surprised Pharrell had agreed to this. Very surprised when I saw them post about it, that he was appearing on it. I did genuinely think he would go on there and refuse to drink. But he got involved. He got a little bit tipsy. And he was quite chatty. It's I think it's over 3 hours long. It's worth watching on YouTube as opposed to listening to it as in podcast form, because a lot of it is very visual. But yeah, definitely go and check this out. He talks a lot about a lot of the older projects, a lot of stuff in there that I think a lot of us fans kind of know already. But say he did talk about Pusha and Drake and a few other things he's been working on and stuff like that. So yeah, a good insight. If you can put up with Noriega's just annoyingness and then drunkenness, then stick with it and get through it. I remember when the podcast first came out and I listened to the first few because I liked the concept. But N.E.R.D is annoying is an understatement, unfortunately. I like N.E.R.D, I like his music, a lot of his music, but as a podcast host, it's cringeworthy at times. And what I found with this podcast was you can just tell. Well, what I think with N.E.R.D is he has his own little bubble that he lives in where he makes his music and he works with people. But outside of that bubble, he has no interest or knowledge of what they actually do and what other things they work on. So, he talks in the podcast a lot about, he's known Pharrell for, 20, 25 years and they've worked on these projects. But then he talks about, one of his first questions is, so what are the nerds? And Pharrell's like, you mean N.E.R.D? And he's like, yeah, the nerds. And he refers to things in a completely different way. And it's like, you would think if this person is your friend, you know the name of his actual band. And he also, at some point...
A normal interview would not get away with that.
No, I know, exactly, yeah. And he talks about... They talk about Hidden Figures at some point. Something about Hidden Figures comes up. And again, he refers to it as the Hidden Figures. And there was something else in the podcast where he does the same thing. He puts the in front of the name of anything. I don't know if it's just something he does or whether he's just completely oblivious to what things are actually called. I found that quite annoying. And also he talks about, he said at the start, he was like, I've known you for 25 years, but I Googled you to do some research about you. And stuff that Pharrell talks about, N.E.R.D kind of sits there and is like, oh my God, he's shocked by these anecdotes he's hearing. But it's all stuff Pharrell's talked about multiple times in the past. The fronting stuff, a lot of Justified being for Michael Jackson and that kind of story.
What? Really?
Shut up, N.E.R.D, shut up. Yeah, so he's, like I say, I think he lives in his little bubble and all this other stuff that I think a lot of other people know. He just has no clue about, and obviously his Google research didn't get him that far. But no, it's an interesting chat nonetheless. It's always quite funny to see Pharrell a little bit tipsy and kind of a bit looser and chatting a bit more kind of naturally as opposed to doing promo for something or doing press that he doesn't really necessarily seem to like to do. So if you've got 3.5 hours to kill at some point over the Christmas holidays, I'd recommend, putting it on YouTube and watching it, because, it's quite amusing at points. What have we got next? Next is the one you've been waiting for. So another Adidas release, with Nigo this time. Tokyo Solar Hues as part of the Pharrell, Nigo, Adidas, Human Race, Human Made, whatever it is, Friendship Pack. We've got a couple of different sneakers, or we've got one sneaker, but different colorways, different variants. And then a kind of a sandal as well in a couple of different colorways. These aren't my kind of thing, but you're close to pulling the trigger, are you?
Yeah, these ones have been blabbing about out of sync on your podcast, so I apologise about that. I think I am very close to pulling the trigger on the lighter ones.
So they're like a turquoisey green colour with some darker accents, and then what is there, like an orangey red
bottom and a
sole?
A lot of colours, a lot of colours on them. But I think they're quite funky. So I might just do it.
Go on, do it. It's Christmas. Treat yourself. Yeah,
I will do.
The shoes themselves, I'm not a massive fan of. I'm not a fan of the silhouette itself. But the kind of, I was going to say slides are not slides. They're like, kind of the Japanese sandals. I don't know what the technical name is for them. But they look quite cool. They look quite nice. Yeah, if I see a pair pop up anywhere, I might be tempted to get involved in those, definitely. They are due out. Oh, they came out on December the 18th, so a few days ago. So, yeah, if anyone out there is after a pair, I would be quick. Right, we are nearing the end of our news. My next one is about Othertone that we've already talked about, so we can skip that. And then, Tokyo Solar Hues Part 2. And this is just exactly the same as the ones we talked about. So not really a part 2, just some additional publicity shots, basically, showing you them in slightly more detail. And yeah, now I can see that colorway, the one you're talking about. It does actually, the colors are quite nice. It's like a reddy orange and a purple and a turquoise and a lime green. And yeah, they do look, the colorway's nice, but the silhouette isn't my sort of thing.
Well, I've successfully added to bag. I just haven't put in my credit card details yet.
Oh, no. What else did we have? Yeah, that was kind of all the news stuff. There have been a few kind of notable BBC releases this year. I know you're sat there wearing one right now. You're wearing the lovely Star Trek hoodie.
Yes.
Which I did try to get, but because I've been sat on my backside for the last 10 months not doing anything, they don't do a size that fits me anymore because they come from Japan, and Japan only goes up to XL, and they run a bit small anyway, I generally find. So I avoided
large.
Yeah, I avoided the Star Trek stuff, but I did cop recently. I got a few things, in fact. BBC EU. I'm a sucker for accessories. So BBC EU released an umbrella. I've got no use for an umbrella. I don't even like carrying umbrellas. I have an umbrella by my front door, which is a tiny little fold-up one that I refuse to ever take out of the house because I don't want to carry it. So I went and purchased a full-size BBC umbrella, which will now sit in my my closet for the rest of its life. But a nice BBC umbrella. It looks cool. It has has the BBC Arch logo on it. It looks like it has a print of the moon surface on the outside of it. It's a good-looking umbrella.
They were offering it for free at one point if you spent, I think it's £250 or more.
Yeah, I think if you spent over a certain amount, you would get it for free. I think I bought it just separately by itself, and I think it was like €60 or something like that. So not overly expensive. And like I say, I'm a sucker for kind of accessories like that. So that was a recent purchase. Around the same time, previous guest of the podcast, Jimmy Garecki of Ice Cream Skate Team fame, he released a ice cream collaboration. Absolutely amazing collaboration. I love the designs involved there. I made sure I got one of the hoodies because they are really, really nice, amazing quality. So the hoodies aren't BBC hoodies. The hoodies are from his own company, JSP. Real nice quality, heavyweight hoodies. And then with the ice cream collaboration graphics on them. Really, really nice hoodie. He also had t-shirts and the sweatpants as well. I just grabbed a hoodie when they were released on the European store. So I think they're probably all sold out now, but I'm hoping he's got some more stuff lined up for BBC, because I know this was a throwback to the original kind of ice cream skate team work they did. And I know they've talked about doing different kind of packs, and this is the first pack. So we may see some more in the future. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for that. Another recent release as well that I really liked was the Hues de Guzman. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Collaboration with BBC. I think this was just for ComplexCon or Complex Land, whatever they called it this year. So he did some. You're right there.
Yeah.
Sound like your chair was about to break.
It's really squeaky. It's like it's a see-through plastic, but you can't move in it. I'm glad you thought the chair was breaking. It wasn't me breaking wind.
No, I looked up and I expected to just see you like fall out of shot, but as the chair collapsed underneath you.
No, just really creaky. I'll try not to move again.
So the Hues de Guzman collaboration, really cool design. I think I've seen some of his work in the past, but wasn't really aware of who he was. But yeah, he did some limited items for Complex Land, including I think some T-shirts and hoodies, jackets. There was a small sculpture that was available as well. It was kind of his reworking on the original kind of ice cream cones and bones type logo. It was really looked really cool. Of course, I didn't get to cop one of them because out here in Europe we don't get to have nice American things. But yeah, really nice designs. BBC US have also been doing numerous collaborations this year, and I can't remember many of the other ones, but I know a recent one I saw was, strangely enough, Garfield, which I was a bit surprised by. I know Garfield's kind of they do a lot of collaborations with kind of popular culture icons, I guess. I don't know if I put Garfield up there as a pop culture icon. So it was a strange collaboration. I'm sure they have the reasons as to why they did it, but yeah, I was surprised to see that, let's say.
I see Bathing Ape do a lot of that, don't they?
Bape nowadays will work with, I think, pretty much anybody, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they seem to do a lot of cartoon stuff. Not my cup of tea, really.
Yeah. And BBC kind of, do some of that, but yeah, it was just strange to see Garfield. I've never been a fan of Garfield, even when I was a kid. So it may have different, people may see it slightly differently in the US, I guess. That's where it's from originally. So it may be a bit more popular over there. But yeah, not my cup of tea. But yeah, any other kind of BBC or ice cream things you've seen this year that you've liked or that you've got?
No, I mean, when I saw the Star Trek, and I only saw that, I think I messaged you actually. I saw an email come in, it's coming out that Friday. I've always wanted to get a Star Trek piece. Originally wanted to get, the old like jackets that they had, quite
coach jackets, yeah.
Coach jackets, yeah. I always wanted one of them, but don't think they've released it this time. But I do have a couple of Billionaire Boys Club ones like that. But yeah, as soon as I saw that was doing the Star Trek ones, I was trying to get a T-shirt as well, but they're gone already. But managed to get this hoodie, which I love it. And as you say, the quality. I haven't got a BBC hoodie. So this is my first one, and it's really, really good quality.
Yeah, they generally are. The interesting thing is as well, the different areas, so the US, Europe, and then Japan, they all use different suppliers. They all have different types of hoodies. So if you buy like a European one now, they're real thick, heavy weights. The Japanese ones are a little bit lighter, a bit thinner. US ones even more so because they're kind of the lower price point. So yeah, if you buy anything European or Japanese, it's always going to be excellent quality. One thing I have noticed this year is Japan are doing again a lot of collaborations as they normally do, but they're starting to retro a lot of stuff as well. A lot of the original logos and designs, to the point where, and even the US have used this recently, or are about to use it with a collaboration with Hidden NY. They're reusing the original tags basically. So for those that had BBC back in the day for the first kind of few seasons of it, I don't know exactly how many, they had these kind of little, almost, I think, made of like felt almost, little kind of flags inside, which were the tags, which had BBC, and then you had the size underneath it. They're really kind of iconic in terms of identifying BBC pieces. So they're starting to kind of bring those back. I don't know if I'm necessarily a fan of that, let's say. They seem to be starting to retro quite a lot of the old classic stuff, and certain things I kind of think, oh, okay, that's fair enough. There are certain parts I think maybe that's going a bit too far, and like bringing back the original kind of classic tags. I've also seen pictures of obviously we had the Reebok collaboration recently, the various different shoes and ice creams that were re-released. I have seen pictures of the Colette version of the original ice creams, the boutiques, in the new Reebok silhouette. Again, I think that would be maybe going a little bit too far, because that colorway is, or was originally, one of the most exclusive colorways of the shoes. There were 150, I think, made, something like that. Or maybe, the pink and brown ones, maybe it was 400 or something like that anyway, but still very, very rare. So those colorways, I wouldn't necessarily want to see them bring them back on these kind of cheaper shoes, let's say, with mass market appeal. There are certain things I wish they'd kind of leave alone slightly, but I think during 2021 we may see the re-emergence of some of the classic ice cream designs and patterns.
I'm still here. I just moved to a chair again. I've got the old bleepers, which I saw mutual friend Aaron White post pictures of his original bleepers, which are in a similar condition to mine. I think there's no way of saving them. So I think if they did do a re-release, I know you might not be happy with it, but I think I would get involved in the purchase of them.
Yeah, and like when they did the Diamond and Dollars ones, was it earlier this year? They're a great shoe. Like, I like the silhouette. I think for the price point as well, they're a really good, comfy shoe. Mine is still in the box, in fact. But the fact that you get that kind of OG design with the box and the accessories and all that kind of thing, I think, price-wise, they're great. And I don't mind them bringing back, the patterns, so the beepers and name chains. I've seen kind of mock-ups of those that may be coming soon again, and all those kind of variants. But the real kind of super rare colorways, part of me just wishes they would kind of leave those alone, but we'll see. They may not see the light of day, or we may see them. Who knows? 2021 could bring us many surprises.
Indeed.
All right, well, that's kind of all the news and stuff I had, basically. Anything else from yourself?
No, just that it's really good to be chatting to you again. As we said at the beginning of the podcast, 2020 has been an odd year for everyone. In some ways, it's been quite a positive one for me. On the last podcast, we discussed the quizzing I'd been doing, raising money for the mental health charity Mind. That I've got one left to do for the year, and we should hit just shy of £4,000 we've raised for Mind charity. So that's been a real personal success of mine, and it's just been great to kind of be able to keep in touch with people and help people through this help myself, but also help other people through this time. So 2020 has been tough, but I think that was just a bit of positivity. I'm getting an absolutely gorgeous girlfriend as well, inside and out. She's an absolute beauty. So that's been a bit of success, but I'm just hoping that we can get back to some kind of normality in 2021.
Yeah, definitely. Well, firstly, congratulations and great work with the money you've been raising. So I know we've talked about it in the past, and you mentioned it on the last podcast. Really great, and I think there are a lot of charities out there that are, have been inundated probably this year with people, wanting to talk to them about problems and mental health issues and things like that. I think it's really come to the forefront this year. A lot of people have really, really struggled with how things have been. So yeah, I'm sure that money will be greatly appreciated by Mind and by the people it therefore then benefits further down the line. So great work there. What was I going to say? Yeah, in 2021. Let's hope things improve. I think we're on upwards trajectory, or we will be soon, hopefully. Now we've got now Bill Gates has got his microchipped vaccine ready to go.
Yeah.
And so we'll all be getting that soon. So hopefully that will help everyone out. And then we can get back to traveling, get back to seeing each other. And then hopefully 2021, I like to think of this episode here as a bit of a reboot of the podcast. I've not done many this year. I've had personal stuff going on this year as well, which has meant I've not really wanted to do podcasts and be chatting to people and all that kind of thing. But for me personally now things are on the up again. So here's hoping get into the new year and I can get back to doing this kind of each week or every couple of weeks, because like I say, I know people have been messaging me every now and again asking when we're going to do it and when the next one will be out and stuff like that. So here's hoping I can actually get my backside in gear and get back to doing this and remember how to work all the software and the editing as well.
Yeah, well that'd be good to get you back on the podcast, because they are a great listen. I think we can just use this as a general reset, can't we? Of everyone does it every new year. People say, right, new year, new me. I think this is the actual year where people think, you know what, life's too short. Some people have really been impacted by this. We've lost people, and I think now's the time you think, what do I really want to do with my life? What's going to excite me next year? So hopefully we can all have a positive outlook and productive year next year.
Definitely. All right, let's wrap it up there, because we've gone well over the hour that I try and stick to. But yeah, as I say, hopefully in the new year we'll have some more podcasts coming out. So keep an eye on. God, I can't even remember my own bloody social media things now because it's been so long since I did it. At Otherz Podcast, I think on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. You can also go to the others.net to stream the podcast, get all the show notes and stuff like that. You can find me at Steve R. Penny on Instagram and all of those places. And Tim, where can people find yourself if they want to follow what you're up to?
It's at Timmy Dougs, which is TIMMYDOUGS. At least I think it's that.
I don't think it is, because I actually checked. I checked beforehand when you DM'd me, and I wrote down what it is.
Where is it?
Just Tim. That's your name. Tim Dougs.
Is it Tim Dougs? Right,
Yeah.
Okay. Right, there we go then. I wasn't trying to throw anyone off the scent. But yeah, so at Tim Dougs.
It'll be in the show notes anyway. I'll make sure it's in there and it's all correct. So people can go and give you a follow if they want. But yeah, we'll wrap it up there. And as I say, this is the 21st of December as we record this. Hopefully this will go out before Christmas. Whether it does or doesn't, hopefully everyone has a great Christmas, great holiday period if you don't celebrate Christmas. Great New Year. Follow the medical advice, stay safe, look after yourself and everyone else around you. And then come the new year, come 2021, we can all get back on it, meet up, travel, do our podcasts, and forget that this year ever happened, basically.
Real? Yeah, Merry Christmas.
We will leave it there at that. So yes, thank you everyone, and speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Cheers all.